Welcome to Biking Pinstripes. I am James Yevon. And welcome to our preset as we talk about life in pinstripes. Buddy, not much. How are you this week?
Well, I do have to say this was quite an interesting setup today.
Oh yeah, as you may know, we kind of did this in a public library, so it's a little bit different. Like last week, where we actually did it in an apartment,
Where we could have the volume of our voice be whatever we wanted it to be. But don't worry, I sealed the windows with tape. I've shoved our jackets in the crack of the door. We are really Houdini, and we're figuring it out as we go.
Yeah,
That's what we're all about.
absolutely.
Speaking of figuring it out as they go, I kind of wanted to start off with the AAF.
Ah, the AAF. You want to explain what?
Yeah, the question is, some people are wondering if it's the already a fail league. Now, it's clever, I get it, but people are wondering because there was a $250 million cash influx or, intake, because people wondered, is it failing that much? Could they not pay everybody's paychecks already? And then I learned that it was just one of the owners. His name is Tom Dundon. He's one of the owners of the entire league. He put $250 million in just to get ahead of the game. It wasn't an emergency or urgency. It was just to make sure this league's going to last for a couple of years. So, I thought about it. There's a lot of contracts out there, $75,000 a year, or people are making, like accountant money. So that's a lot of football players that I don't even know are making good money out there.
Now I understand the AAF has a bunch of former NFL players.
Former and striving to be, and maybe looking to get a spot. A lot of them are special teams guys. A lot of them, Christian Hackenberg's an example of a third stringer who was in the NFL for just a little bit. Penn Stater, as you know.
Big time bust.
Yeah.
Sorry, Christian Hackenberg. If you're watching this.
He's kind of showing his colors because, let's put it this way, the AAF is a good design for linemen, linebackers, offensive line and defensive line.
So basically any position you could play in the NFL,
Yeah,
or just football in general.
No, but except for the star positions. Let me explain for a sec. So this league, which is kind of acting as a minor league, is pro-style football. Most of these guys are in their young 20s and they haven't hit a professional league yet. They've been in college where defensive assignments and responsibilities are very different. And let's just put it this way, they're very less disciplined in general.
Of course.
So offenses like power O, trap, counter, these are all things that the linemen are going to learn and hopefully develop and be able to show off their tools and maybe make it to the next step. But I'm a little disappointed in the wide receivers. I'm watching these guys try to make a lot of one-handed grabs, and I understand the highlight reel plays go on SportsCenter, but that's not what gets you to the next level.
Oh, of course. As impressive as Odell Beckham when he did that a few years ago against the Dallas
He
Cowboys.
honestly changed everything by doing that catch.
Yeah, he made me want to make one-handed catches.
Yeah.
I just want to go, oh, I got it!
Yeah, that was defying gravity, man. That was insane, but it honestly separated him from the rest of the league. And then you saw this ego attached to it in a weird way.
Oh, with Odell?
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's almost like, okay, I get it. One-handed catches are awesome. They're pretty to look at. But what moment is it during the game? Is it a game-winning catch? Is it during a playoff? Or are you sending a message to kids it's cooler to try to make a one-handed catch when I see their other hand available and they're not securing like a regular 3rd and 10? That would upset any coach. And there's some legitimate coaches, including Mike Martz and Steve Spurrier in that league. So these guys know what they're talking about. So I don't know. The wide receivers and quarterbacks are not impressing me. But if you're a true football fan, the AAF might satisfy and quench your thirst.
It's definitely a more aggressive league, which is something I think the NFL has been kind of missing over the last few seasons, because you feel like all these plays that happen, like this. Remember when we had this discussion, the AFC Championship game between the Patriots and the Chiefs?
Yes.
The roughing the passer? That's like if I did that to you.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Tom Brady. It was when from this angle, it would look like this to the back judge, but it literally didn't even graze his mask. It was just America. But what I did see, and I think everybody at home loved it, was a quarterback was hit shoulder to chest.
Of course.
And his helmet went flying off. It would have been a flag in the NFL.
Oh, are you kidding me? Of course it'd be a flag.
Guy would have been fined like $9 million by now. But I love the fact that where's the flag? There was no flag. Yes!
About time.
It felt like we got back to the good years of where hits were exciting, and yes, there was a moment where I noticed in the second week where 2 or 3 players got hurt within a 5-minute span, and then 2 of the same players ran into each other and was on the field for over 20 minutes, not moving an inch. I'm sorry, I don't know the name of the player or which team it was, because that's the AAF. We're not just there yet memorizing these team names. But thoughts go out to him and his family. And I thought to myself as I was watching it, ooh, is this exactly what the NFL is going to use against the AAF for making safety a priority?
You do realize that's one of the reasons why the NFL is the way it is, because safety has been a huge priority. You know, tons of players getting concussions, missing tons of time. It's just...
And the knowledge, like you said, concussion knowledge has risen through the roof. There's protocol now, the tent, little thing that, you know, I had 2 concussions when I played in high school, and even then, they kind of just make you do a little computer test and then an endurance test. And it didn't really compute to me what I was being challenged on until all of a sudden I became extremely weak and dehydrated, and my eyes were open, but all I saw was black. So I knew to not lie and say I was fine. I knew to be honest, because my mother's a nurse. Love you, Ma. And she is, be honest, do not lie, do not make things worse. But I feel like the AAF is going to have a lot of packing a punch type hits, and I'm excited, and I hope safety is paid attention to. But let's be honest, these boys are getting played to go to war, you know. Not real war, but it's a violent sport, and it's what they do. So.
You know what it is? I also think of the AAF, and we were talking about strength. Strength is almost kind of like a huge component in life. Sometimes you got to take a couple of hits. I know football, it's very dangerous. Trust me, if I played football, I'd probably get a concussion twice in 5 minutes of a quarter. I mean, look at me.
Give yourself some credit.
Yeah, I know.
What position would you play? What would you like to play?
Probably wide receiver.
I was going to say wide receiver. You've got height, you've got length, and I feel like you can shimmy sham and get the corner off your back. Inside route, boom.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I was a wide receiver, and I was not very fast. Can you run? Are you fast?
I think I can run pretty fast.
You're probably faster than me. I wasn't great at sluggos, as you know. If anybody's a wide receiver out there, the sluggo is the slant go. It's a sluggish slant, if you will. You kind of dog it, acting like you're about to block, and then you go. So I was a good actor, but I was not a good runner. So I made up for it playing linebacker. Defense takes all. And if you play defense, you know what I mean. Oski.
Hey.
There's a little interception thing, so.
Hey, defense wins games, okay?
You're absolutely right. You know, and the Super Bowl, we were saying in a previous podcast, I liked the Super Bowl. I was not bored ever.
You know, we had this discussion.
Yeah.
You know, the first day after the Super Bowl, 13-3. Think about it. That score is absolutely atrocious. It's such a low-scoring game. But then,
you're right.
You know, as both of us being football fans, 13-3. The Patriots absolutely demolished the Rams' offense, consisting of Jared Goff,
Todd
Gurley, name a few guys.
Cooper Kupp. They really, you know, Cooper Kupp went down in the middle of the year. That was the turning point in the Rams' offense when they were able to spread the ball to all their tools. And when Cooper Kupp, when you lose that deep threat, the underslants were covered a lot faster. They can go one-on-one man up, and there wouldn't be that guy open in the zone. So a lot of focus went back on Todd Gurley, and then at the end he was kind of hurt. So question marks there, but hats off to the Patriots, man.
Of course, as always.
Like you said, they're not known for defense. And
were you kidding me? With their stretch over the last 20 years,
they're known for winning, 50 to 30.
The Gronk spike. Edelman. You remember that catch in the Super Bowl 51, I think?
Yeah.
This one, they were doing their comeback, and it looked like it was about to drop, and then next thing you know, Edelman was able to catch it. I'm like, no! No way! I couldn't believe it!
So it was literally like that close off the ground. It was literally like right there.
Yeah, just like a little.
And
One of those kind of
that was a
things.
miracle comeback, by the way.
Of course, come on, greatest comeback in NFL history.
Man. But I do want to say, to go back to the AAF,
Yep.
it's also a place for training the officials. You know, speaking of which, these guys are now,
Yes.
it's holding the NFL refs accountable again. Because maybe, I don't know, did they have a farm system like in the semi-pros or in the college levels that would fill in the NFL if someone's making a bad call? Because these guys get evaluated. And
Yeah.
spotlight's on them now. They're definitely going to get evaluated. And whoever the line judge or back judge was during the Rams-Saints game,
Oh,
when
yeah.
the guy got leveled on the sideline, there's no way that he's reffing the next game.
I
Bring
think
up a guy from the AAF.
any fan of football would make that call. Literally anybody, even the person who was probably watching it for the first time, would make that call. No offense, but
No
yeah,
offense, but take offense.
take tons of offense.
So other than developing pro-style offenses, blocking schemes, like I said, the D-line and linebackers are finally going to see professional-style responsibilities.
Of course.
You know, they got used to some bad habits in college because, let's be honest, some of the running holes were about 12 yards wide, and even Dikembe Mutombo could gain 9 yards on some of the power I plays. No.
Not this time.
But I digress.
Where's our digress jar?
We'll get into that.
Yeah.
I will say, AAF, I like what I see. There's nothing to worry about the $250 million cash money going in.
Of course.
Wide receivers, I want to see you catch the ball. I don't want to see one hand, because as soon as you only put one hand out, you could have put two. The coaches and the scouts are not watching either. So, I think it's time to talk about the New York Yankees.
Our beloved New York Yankees that we can talk about literally every minute of every day.
Finally, spring training is upon us.
I know, about time.
So tell us, so what do we got in our debut?
All right, so we've had a few games already in. A couple Yankees have homered, as we know. Gleyber Torres, first at bat of the spring, went deep. First at bat against the Boston Red Sox. I know it's spring training, it doesn't matter, but actually it does matter to me. Every at bat, everything.
And remember, he had that weak strikeout to end his season against the Red Sox. I don't know if it was the last inning, but Gary Sanchez flew out with the bases loaded.
Torres hit that little ground ball to the third baseman. It was that one.
He dinked.
That we thought.
You're right. We thought he beat it out, but replay showed.
Steve Pierce with a incredible extend like this.
And of course, Eduardo Nunez, who never played defense for us, played ecstatic for them. But I will say, Gleyber Torres did have a couple bad at-bats in that game, and that's where I thought his youth was shining too for the first time, which I'll take in a rookie who has just a brilliant year. And hey,
Who would have thought?
homered in his first at-bat.
Of spring training, nonetheless. And
Who else did?
boom goes the Voit.
Boom goes the void.
Yes.
That's reassuring. He's a big question mark for me. I know he exploded out of the gate last year for the Yankees, kind of had a new purpose in life. He only had 13 or whatever at-bats for the Cardinals, but now he's playing first base for the friggin' New York Yankees.
The New York Yankees.
And,
the New York Yankees.
The man showed us something. He's jacked. Usually Frank Thomas-sized people can't turn on the ball.
No.
And he showed me something. He's got something. But I'm worried about the pitchers learning where his weak spots are. If they learn to jam him in high and tight fast, then go low and away slow, I feel like he cannot hit that curveball. But we'll see. He hit a homer. So, hey.
I know, but he's not the only Yankee that homered.
Oh, boy. Troy.
Tulowitzki,
Hey.
first at bat against his former team, who literally absolutely criticized him because he got injured. First at bat, he hits a roper down the right field line, right near the 314. goes out.
In spring training, he was jacked. He was screaming as he rounded.
He's like, let's go! He's like clapping like this.
He honestly, it's brilliant because I remember hearing a story. He grew up a Yankee fan. He grew up a Derek Jeter fan.
That's why you wore number 2 with the Rockies and the Blue Jays.
He wore number 2. And as we know, we faced him a lot. He kind of got hurt there and lost his way a little bit up in Toronto. But now he's back in the States, wearing pinstripes.
It looks good on him.
That's why we love the Yankees right there. It's the drama. San Diego Padres drama right now is about a pretty boy with a pretty bat getting paid pretty money.
Who's trying to get a second pretty boy with a pretty bat.
I'm over him. The cool stuff about the Yankees, why we love them, is because it's not only the Big Apple and big moments, but things are just, they seem more dramatic. It's my version of a soap opera. Like, Troy Tulowitzki, good for you. It's a spring training at bat. I'm sure no one's going to actually care.
I do.
I do.
I always care.
You know, I want to see it, obviously I want to see it translate to the regular season.
I think he'll be fine in the regular season.
I do too. And you know what? How awesome was that for a boost? You know, if you strike out in your first at bat, you're like, okay, I promise Yankees, I'll show you what I got. But hey, a lot of these guys check that box pretty quick.
Of course.
So I wanted to ask, anything from Greg Bird?
First of all, I was watching the Yankees face the Blue Jays that same game where Troy Tulowitzki homered. They were talking about in the Yes Network broadcast, Greg Bird gained 20 pounds of muscle.
Ooh. Where? What's he look like?
Upper body strength. Like, definitely, like, upper body. You could see, like, in his legs. He looks thicker.
Okay. Yeah, he kind of, you know, for a power-hitting first baseman, he was kind of, not thin and wispy, but he was,
lengthy.
Yeah, because whatever it was, his body wasn't protecting itself. He just got hurt every 5 seconds. So hopefully he reinforced the parts of his body, the temple that is, to not play 4 games in a year. Sorry. I love you, Greg Bird. I absolutely love you.
I never given up hope. Forget what I said last year about his 199 batting average.
Oh.
I still have hope for you, Greg Bird.
We do have hope. We're probably 2 of the last 11 people in New York that, you know, they'll cheer. If he gets a bloop single to start, they'll cheer.
I will take anything.
If he strikes out and gets hurt in the first, if he even misses 2 games, I don't know if he can come back.
Now here's my one problem. You know, gain 20 pounds of upper strength, upper muscle.
Yeah.
That sounds good, but with a guy who's always injury prone, you don't know if that is going to lead to even more injuries. The same thing I said about
right.
Noah Syndergaard when he gained 25 pounds of muscle. He wanted to
Thor.
throw harder.
Yeah.
The first thing that came to my mind is do not hurt your elbow because, you know, it's going to lead to Tommy John surgery, then you're going to be gone for a year, and then it's going to be an absolute disaster.
You're right. Thor, he did have a big base already. Bird kind of had you're right, he had more of a body change. So this is like, he needs to get used to, I mean, clearly he's been working out. He's been showing us that he's here to play.
You know what he does? He shows he cares. He wants to win that first base opportunity because everybody knows that 97% of Yankee fans out there want Luke Voit to win the first base job.
Yeah, and you know, hopefully it'll be a platoon deal.
I think that's what they should do.
You got a righty, you got a lefty, and we've got some other pieces that can fit in there, but one of them can DH even. Hopefully they both get hot. But it's good to have a big boy at first in Luke Voit. Reminds me of Giambi, even though he's a righty.
Jason Giambi.
Forms the size of
Popeyes almost.
Popeyes lumber. But Greg Bird, seeing that, step up, big boy. I like that. 20 pounds of muscle, man. 20 pounds of muscle.
You know how shocked I was when they said that? I'm like, I'm like, what?
What if he just did a bunch of curls for the girls and looked like he got stronger and then just drank a bunch of beer and has a gut?
Well, you never know. That's something you have to ask him.
I'm going to find out personally.
All right, fine. We'll go to Tampa. We'll find out.
I would love to do that one day. But I further the Yankee conversation with this. We signed somebody, do we not?
Recently?
Center field?
Oh, that's right.
That was a trap.
Resign. I'm like,
resign.
The way you said it,
I know.
it sounded like we got someone new.
No, you're right.
We have
apologies.
7 more years of Aaron Hicks. And guess what? they're not done yet. They're talking to Dylan Betances on re-signing,
I like it.
and they're also talking to Sir Didi.
Oh, good, because just do it.
Those are two guys. I don't want them to go anywhere.
And they're Yankees, man. They're Yankees. Sir Didi, Yankee.
For life.
Dude, for life.
He should be a Yankee for life.
Stamp it, man. He came in and just replaced a captain seamlessly. Yeah, we'll wait for his injury. He produces. He's not that big, and he's been hitting he was hitting the 4 spot for a while, 5 spot. He can hit in the 2 spot, and his glove is pretty. I just love, and his arm.
You do know that the kids, McGill and Duhar and Torres, should learn from Didi.
Oh yeah. And while Didi's taking a little breather and recovering, they should absolutely be taking notes from him. But I got my first view of James Paxton.
Ah yes, James Paxton. He looked great.
He did look great.
He looked really good.
I had no idea. First off, he was 7'9".
That's a little. Well, I was about to say. I'm like, what do you want me to say about that?
Let's see. What is he actually? Probably about. I know his stat line only said 6 foot. I think he said 6'5".
So somewhere around. He's
but
tall.
He looks 6'8". He's a beast up on that mound.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of which, brings up an interesting point that my father and I were discussing about the mound. The height.
Ah, the mound.
The mound.
We knew about this change over the last
So it changed in the '60s. All right.
Bob Gibson. Yeah.
Bob Gibson, and it was almost unfair, the angle in which he was so high up, throwing absolute gas, that the pitch was coming down. Look at it this way: if you swing through the plane of the strike zone, the ball traveling horizontal is obviously you're gonna have more opportunity to hit it. If there's a ball coming down on a plane, there's only a window this wide of the bat that you're going to be able to hit that.
Oh yeah,
so,
absolutely.
I wondered if it even mattered, but then I actually looked at some statistics. It blew my mind. And people will say in the '60s, pitching, fastball, curveball, changeup. It wasn't like it is today.
Are you kidding me? Everyone is trying to develop their 4-5 pitch repertoire.
Yeah.
You know how difficult it is to develop 4 to 5 pitches?
Yeah.
It's probably difficult to have 3.
It is. There's sinkers, there's cup fastballs, there's 2-seamers.
The knuckleball, the forkball, the palm ball. Just to name a couple out there.
Splitter.
The splitter.
Knuckle curve.
How about
slurve?
The legendary cutter, Mariano Rivera.
Love the cut fastball. Slider. You know what? Real quick, Mariano. A man standing at what? 5'9", 5'10".
Oh, I easily have height on him.
At most throwing 92, 93, maybe 94 in his in the apex of his career.
He's the most intimidating pitcher in Major League Baseball history.
Lights out. Enter Sandman. Towards the end, throwing 89 to 91. You knew what was coming, and no one could hit it.
Yep. That's what I call the tip of the cap. Unanimous.
But back to the old school interesting baseball stats. I heard something interesting about strikeouts.
See, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Strikeouts are on the rise, and I think we've had this conversation one way too many times. If you notice in Major League Baseball, a lot of players either doing the home run or bust. And the home run or bust is they're either hitting 20 to 50 home runs a season and striking out close to 200 times.
And batting like 220.
Yes.
Like a Todd Frazier.
Mark
Reynolds. And I get it.
Aaron Judge. Had to bring it out there.
Yes, Aaron Judge. Because there's a certain player that has an identity that's, okay, I'm going to hit 220, but I'm going to produce enough like a Mark Reynolds. When it comes to Aaron Judge, I want to see out of this year, I want to see him go back to old school and kind of choke up on the bat. Back in the day, it was all about putting the ball in play, adding pressure to the defense. The guys would literally choke up so much on the bat and almost play pepper with 2 strikes.
Yeah.
At least you're at making the defense make a play. And needless to say, I'm going to read a very interesting statistic here.
All right, let's hear
this. We all know Yogi Berra.
Lawrence Peter Yogi Berra.
Come to a fork in the road, take it.
Yeah.
It's not over till it's over, just a few.
Love it.
The man played for 18 years. And also in between partook in the the war.
The Korean War, right?
I was about to say, I know Whitey Ford was in the Korean War, and that's my next stat.
Oh.
So I'll digress. It's
All right.
definitely a good digress moment. But almost everybody, Teddy Ballgame, fighter pilot, like these guys, different style of, not style, different calling, different human being, different level of like respect for everything. So I almost want to take that all the way down to the finite strikeout itself. You know,
The strikeout.
the same idea of the wide receivers trying to go for the one-handed catch. Like you said, these hitters going for a home run. And to say you want to produce and do something, Yogi Berra, over the course of 18 years, struck out 411 times.
In 18 years?
In 18 years.
You do realize that players strike out at like maybe
Aaron Judge.
in 2 years.
Aaron Judge, first 2 full seasons, basically the exact same amount, 408. Yogi Berra, 18 years, 411. And this is not knocking Aaron Judge. This isn't basically knocking the league. But what I'm saying is...
That's the one little downfall about Aaron Judge. But knowing him, captain, leader,
yeah,
eventual world champion.
I'll take everything else. But I'm calling out almost the entire league, and not just Aaron, because over 2 years, think of it this way, the amount of strikeouts he had matched a player that thusly would play for another 16 years. Imagine that level of production without striking out again for 16 years, for a little perspective.
So how many strikeouts did Yogi Berra have in his...
411.
And how much does Aaron Judge have?
Well, after his first 2 full seasons was 408.
So he needs to strike out 3 times in the next 16 years to catch the Yogi Berra.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's not going to happen.
Sorry, he's going to strike out 3 times in one game.
But
anyway.
But to continue the interesting facts about old-time Yankee intel, I found out that, you all remember Casey Stengel in the history books, right?
Number 37 retired by the Yankees.
And you hear a name, Whitey Ford, and you think, yeah, great pitcher, whatever. Here's something I didn't know.
Okay.
What's not done today. Casey Stengel, the manager, made him face the ace of the other team, whether it was going to be on 4 days rest, 6 days rest, or even 2 days rest.
You know how impossible it is for a pitcher to play on 2 days rest?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen anymore.
These guys had rubber arms, and I don't know if it's because we're coddled or it's a higher level of game. I don't think so. But Whitey Ford, thusly, was pitching 7 to 8 less times a year. So take that into consideration for statistics, just because it worked out that way.
Yeah.
He's facing the other team's ace, and his career ERA was 2.75, with 236 wins and only 106 losses.
Get out of here.
I repeat, he had 236 wins, 106 losses. That's over 6.
That's incredible.
And a 2.75 ERA when he was facing the best of the other teams.
2.75.
I mean, granted, you're facing the hitters, but he won over 2/3 of his games facing aces. That blows my mind.
You ever thought about how Whitey Ford would be in this kind of generation?
Yeah. I go back to what we were just saying.
Yeah.
He did fight in the Korean War.
Yep.
So the Call of Duty, it was like the type of game, it was different. The ballparks were massive. Like
Polo grounds.
Like the Yankee Stadium used to have monuments inside the park.
Yeah, before they decided to cut it off.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember, what was it? I think I saw some footage the other day. It was
awesome.
Yankee center fielder, 3 plaques in center field, and you literally had to go through the plaques to get to the baseball. You know how a lot of players would probably get an inside the park home run.
Absolutely. But it just was a different game. Yes, you're using a ball, a bat, a stick, a glove, a little bit of spit and elbow grease, but it was just different. I feel, Whitey Ford going to the Korean War. Imagine we praised any athlete
who did both.
Who does both.
Who played and actually served and fought for our country.
Pat Tillman.
Pat Tillman.
May he rest in peace.
Yeah, that was just an unfortunate thing what happened to him. You gotta love him. Everybody looks up to him.
Oh my gosh. That story, Arizona Cardinals, it was a case of friendly fire.
Yeah, that's the part where it hurts the most.
Yeah, but he still fought for his country, played football, went back out, and made the ultimate sacrifice. And it's just, we do admire and are blown away by that type of human being. And it seems like the Call of Duty is just, it's different now because we admire that one story out of a million. And it seems like every player, including like Teddy Ballgame, going to World War II, like everybody stopped and went to war. I don't know. I pause for a sec and give a true symbol of my respect, my gratitude.
Our respect.
Our respect, a generation's respect, for the type of men that paved the way so that we could play a game.
Absolutely.
Those are some real men out there.
Yeah.
May you all rest in peace.
Yeah. You know what it is? I feel like if I was ever an athlete, like really big time athlete, would I want to do something to help the country? Because I feel like me just playing a game for a city, for
Absolutely.
a team, joining the war, or joining the army, doing all these good things, getting your name out. Well, not really getting your name out there, but
using
showing who you are.
Using it. You name, if, when comedians go overseas, they're getting their name out there, but it's not for selfish reasons. They're literally flying into a war zone to relieve some tension from our troops, make them laugh.
Absolutely.
There's more than one way to help your country and help your fellow humans around you.
Yeah.
So it feels what you're basically talking about is a sense of responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
With great power
comes great responsibility. Spider-Man.
But so true, right? And it might be just helping your local communities out. You see all these charities and foundations, NFL and MLB, and never stop hyping that.
It's the littlest of things.
The littlest of things. I remember the story about Brett Gardner when he was going to Sloan Kettering and he was helping a girl who had cancer, and she becomes his hero.
Oh yeah.
And the story and it's Brett Gardner, by the way, and yes, he's kind of started swinging for the fences lately, but the last couple of years. But it was back when he only had maybe 8, 9, or 10 home runs.
He's still a leader no matter what.
He told this girl, no joke, he told this girl, "I'm gonna hit a home run for you." This is real. Look this up. That night, Brett Gardner, who hadn't hit one in, I think it was something like 400, 500 at bats, went yard that night. Gives me chills, man.
Gives you chills. Kind of, you know what it is? You feel the emotion. You can
Yeah.
kind of like, your eyes get a little watery. It's just like, you just kind of want to wipe them away. And also,
tip the cap,
as always.
You're riding that emotion. You're using it. You're realizing other people have other situations. And I get to hit a ball with a stick. I'm going to make the best of it. And it's almost as if you become a part of something bigger, something more powerful. And the key is to not make it about yourself.
And also, yeah, exactly, making someone like younger, like say us, for someone to look up to.
Absolutely. And, that's why we're sick of the Manny Machados. It would take him to do so much community service, and I wouldn't even, you see who he is.
You probably would have to find world peace in order to respect him.
Machado.
But
that was a beautiful thing. And, to further the idea of being a part of something bigger, or to realize the importance in small moments, I'm going to shift the conversation to Zion Williamson.
Zion Williamson.
So the question is this. People seem to get upset at the fact that he's going to continue to play basketball as a basketball player to help his team, his boys, his college brothers try to win a national championship.
Okay.
So here's my point. I just want to know where you stand. He's there to play basketball. He was given a scholarship
to play basketball.
To play basketball.
Yeah.
And to get an education at Duke University. There could be another human being out there that could be solving some kind of disease that could have needed that scholarship. But my point is this: if everyone's so gung-ho on this man waiting just because then it's about money. Is that really the bottom line? You're really going to have your day changed if somebody else that's not you gets a huge payday and sits out during a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to play March Madness?
Yeah, here's the thing with Zion, who gets more in the spotlight than any athlete I've seen since LeBron James.
Yeah, doesn't it?
It's like insane. It's insane. It's like
you're right though. No college player has had this much.
No, literally not in the longest time.
Yeah.
Even LeBron didn't even play college and went straight to the NBA.
Yeah. No, I can't even think. J.J. Redick was awesome, but
J.J. Redick for Duke,
he's a phenom, but it was still just during the season talk. It wasn't every day.
It's literally every minute of my day. It's like Zion did this. Zion went to class. Zion got an A+ on his spelling test.
And that's my exact point. Well, you never know if these guys are actually taking their tests or if somebody's taking it for them. But at Duke University, I've assumed he's got to do
one of the best basketball schools in the country
and educational schools. He's got to be doing his homework. But that's my point. He's a kid doing homework. Let him do where he's at in life.
So where you
don't skip ahead.
So you're telling me this? You're telling him that he should be more of an actual college student instead of being this gigantic superstar who's going to get picked first overall in the NBA draft?
No, I'm not saying. Well, I'm saying to the public.
Okay.
He's doing him. I like him a lot. He's such a positive force, man. And it was tough to see his shoe explode the other day.
Yeah.
Roll his ankle. I get it. Let's rehab him super slow. Coach K, totally take it easy. Even if he sits out till maybe the ACC championship and then the March Madness, that's fine. His teammates need to learn how to step up in big moments. They just lost to Virginia Tech without him. So
he hasn't played in the last couple of games either.
So it's not that I'm saying be a college student. I'm telling the world, remember, he's a college student. However many millions of dollars he's going to get offered does not change the fact that he's still a kid.
Yeah, he's only 18 years old.
He's a kid. He's going to let him be a kid because we see what happens when you take someone who doesn't get a chance to be a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And we just talked about ESPN 30 for 30 called Broke.
See.
That was awesome.
Everybody should watch that.
But sad in such a way. It's these young players who grow up in a whatever area, whether it be in a suburb or an impoverished area. Like these kids don't have, they have $5 in their pocket. Then they get really good at putting a ball through a hoop, man, and all of a sudden they're making $20,000 a week or even a game or $150,000. Who knows? They're handed a paycheck that is what people dream to see in a year. And so these kids don't ever have a chance to learn what that is, what money is, and so many of them. I hope it doesn't happen to Zion, but
I don't think it's.
I don't think so either. He's got a lot of people on his case.
Yeah, especially since the pressures of him being the first overall pick, probably in the NBA. He's probably going to the Knicks or the Suns, somewhere around there.
Would love to see him be in the Garden, because he's not the case of Antoine Walker, where he's going to gamble and have no money left to his name, even though he had millions of dollars. It's not that. It's just my final point is such. Let the boy rehab in some peace. Let his teammates come around him. Let him be amongst his peers at the level of life in which he's at, because it's the only time he's ever going to get a chance to do this.
I agree.
He's gonna, no matter what injury he gets, he's gonna play an NBA game.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. His talent is just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it really is though.
Like almost like eye opener, like mind boggling, almost one of those kind of things.
You're right though. I don't remember actually seeing the physics of a ball player like him, especially like when he steps back and he has a smooth left. He can hit the jumper,
and he also has a dunk so hard that he probably take down the basket with him.
Yeah, he could Shaq break that glass, man. He's a beast, man.
I know.
So he's gonna play. So it's like let the boy go to college. Let the boy take a test. Let him be where he's at.
Let him be a kid.
Let him be a kid.
That's the problem. You know what it is?
Yeah.
The spotlight is on him. Zion this, Zion that. We want you to play football, or not football. Take that back. We want you to play basketball.
But he could play football.
He kidding me? He'd probably be a tight end.
Oh, he'd be a tight end. He'd be I was going to say he'd be Jamarcus Russell.
Jamarcus.
A terrible lefty. Terrible
anyway.
Raiders. But, no.
We both digress on that.
We both digress. Thank you, bud.
Yeah.
So, bottom line, let the guy be a kid.
Yeah, the spotlight is... You can't imagine how much pressure he's probably going on. He probably hands
with grace. He has no, he hasn't been caught with a girl and...
Yeah, but think about what the spotlight is like without the camera. He's probably worried beyond belief.
Yeah, man, and it's
a lot of pressure.
Every human being that he sees, I don't even know if he goes to a grocery store. If you're that famous, do you go to a grocery store? But if he's in a grocery store, there's no way 95 people ask him, are you going to play? Are you going to play? Are you going to play? Like, he seems to be handling it kind of well.
Yeah, you know what I would say? Would you like eggs? Would you like bread? Would you like butter? Can I help you with your shopping list?
Get some mango, mutton, dice it up. It's baller with some lemon.
Yeah, I heard it's a slam dunk, by the way.
The point is, let him live his life.
Of course.
And, it's weird what we do with stars and fame and how we look at folks.
This is why I would never be an athlete in my life.
Why not?
Because the pressure, the people, I wouldn't get any time to myself.
You're right, there's two separate things happening there though. That pressure is almost what fuels half of athletes. Some people feed off that. Then there's others that are just so God-given, naturally good, that they have to learn to deal with that pressure.
Mm-hmm.
But I would be the type that I would love to march into an away stadium and just silence the crowd. I love that. I feed off that.
Silencing the crowd?
Oh.
You mean something that Greg Bird needs to do about it?
Yes.
He needs to silence.
Sadly, it's his own fans that he has to silence, but
unfortunately. Yeah.
But yeah, there's that fuel. There's that happening, and then there's the energy that it takes to overcome strain can be used as a weapon, or it overrides you, and you're shielded, and you're not producing as best as you can. I would say to be an athlete, there's one that's just automatic.
Mm-hmm.
But it helps to just play the game. Don't get caught up in all the Zion news and all this. Zion, keep your eyes on the court, on the ball, and work on your free throws. Literally, that gets you through. Mm-hmm. Eventually, they don't hear it. They hear the player calling out a play or the coach. There is so many people there that they are not paying attention to, you would think.
Yeah.
But it's hard as a kid, man.
You want to be the respected player and not a Johnny Manziel.
Yeah.
How did that go for him again?
Johnny Manzi. I would love to see him try to get in the AAF or the Canadian Football League.
See, I was kind of thinking
the XFL.
XFL.
He's perfect for that. But he does honestly seem like he's trying to turn his life around. I saw an old picture of him and a rejuvenated picture of him. He did look very drugged out, and the fame got to him. That was exactly what we're talking about. He was a case of he had to learn how to deal with it, and this turned him into...
Why don't you think he was the first overall pick? Because everybody knew what kind of human being was besides putting on the football mask.
Yeah.
He was a guy who liked to go out, have a good time,
absolutely,
and not be responsible. And let's be honest, at his age, we were young once too.
Yeah, man. You're still young.
Yeah.
But
we're still young.
Okay. They are scouts. They absolutely look at that. You're right. And it seemed like the general consensus was, the general concern is he still going to be a boy or is he ready to be a man? And Johnny Manziel is more like Boyzell. But
yeah, sadly. All right.
That was terrible. But
no, I see where you were going at though. Unfortunately, we got no drum over here.
Thank you. I was about to digress, and I'm really glad I didn't. You saved it for me.
Okay.
So, furthering in news of sports, what do we got here? Is Bryce Harper going to be a Phil, or is it going to be a Dodge, or is it going to be a Ford Escort 150? I don't know.
How about nobody? Because I am so sick of this news.
Me too, bud. We're going to move on to the next topic.
We're not going to talk about this Bryce Harper thing?
No. Right?
No, but I think you should talk about how We thought by Tuesday he was going to be having a team, so I was ready to say Bryce Harper is going to the Phillies for this stupid amount of money.
Right, and then there's this thing that Dodgers show interest.
Now the Giants come back in. It's like, why are they coming back?
See, we're not going to take that circus wheel. We're not going to take the crumbs they're feeding us because they want us to go, and I think some of it's smoke and mirrors, but a lot of it is just, I don't care anymore. You're right, I'm tired of it. And Machado tuckered me out, man.
Yeah, the Harper thing, I think is it possible that is worse than the Machado thing? Seriously!
It almost is. He's only saved by not being as big of a tool bag as...
He's still kind of a tool
He's
bag.
the coiffed hair tool bag. This is a different category. Manny Machado is Tool University. And Bryce Harper...
is about to sign into Tool.
He's junior college tool bag.
Okay.
He hasn't committed to the tool bag life yet. He does have the hair and he does have the energy.
Very strong energy.
Very strong energy. But he doesn't seem to ever bark at the other team.
He doesn't bark at the other team, but he barks at the umpires a lot.
Oh, we all do.
I know.
But at least he understands some form of respect for the game. I feel like if Manny Machado had his way, he would just...
It's the same thing that we were talking about. The pressure him. He was the biggest high school prospect, hitting 560-foot bombs to North Dakota almost.
I had the pleasure of seeing him hit live once.
Really?
I did. At a showcase, perfect game showcase. Basically, the entire world stopped and just watched him take BP. The ball did go 5 billion feet, and the ball did sound like an explosion off of his bat. Like George Springer, but if not more. It just overall looks more pretty as a lefty, and that coiffed hair is just too much. So, let me ask you another question.
What's up?
Speaking of being too much, I have a pretty interesting theory that, shout out to David Marshall, tennis pro, a buddy of mine. He has a theory on Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods. How do you go from Bryce Harper to Tiger Woods?
Because you'll see in a sec. So, fame, the play in the field, and youth all coming together. This is my buddy's theory.
Okay.
Tiger Woods is back. There was a shot he hit the other day out of the sand trap. I don't know if everybody saw. Inside out of it and hurricaned it. Like a dramatic play like Bryce Harper would do. But it was a play that the old Tiger does, and he sank the putt. Granted, he's not making the other putts, but what I'm saying is, the theory is, he is actually back, just the strength of field is a cloak. There were not Justin Thomases, Dustin Johnsons, Ricky Fowlers,
Jordan Spieth,
you name it, man. These guys all, inspired by Tiger being that young stud, have now become him in a way of talent, and they've diluted what he appears to be. I think David's onto something here because we researched the leaderboard of the Masters from '99 all the way to 2006, and no joke, Tiger Woods was the only one that was young. It was literally every classic Honda, Toyota car. It was the Montgomerys, and I will say Sergio Garcia was essentially kind of young, but that was the only other one. You had Davis Love III, David Duval, Vijay Singh, Ernie Els, Phil Mickelson. Those were the guys that were on the leaderboard with him, and that's why he just appeared so different. He was this lightning bolt of youth, just like Bryce Harper is.
Yeah.
And he has these skills that really astonish and mesmerize the senses, just like Bryce, just like Tiger.
Yep.
But it's almost now being cloaked by so many people being so friggin' good.
Of course.
So what do you think of that theory?
Think about Tiger Woods, the most influential athlete of all time. Of course. Why wouldn't any golfer want to be like Tiger Woods?
Yeah.
Or be like Happy Gilmore, who knows? But anyway, I digress there for a second.
Attaboy, digress away. I watched Happy Gilmore was on TV the other day. It was the moment where he's making the putt with the hockey stick when the grandstand falls
yeah.
field play.
Oh, now there's a tower in my way.
And let's be honest, the rules were a little fudged for that movie, but
What do you expect?
the guy had to hit the ball off of the gigantic man's foot.
Yep.
The guy had to hit it off of his foot, and he just ding, 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 and it goes in. You gotta love that movie, man.
Oh, of course, it's one of the top sports movies of all time.
But just like Tiger, man, he stood out. He was changing the game of golf.
Yeah, until what happened at Thanksgiving Day in 2009. That completely changed everything.
Well, for those who don't know.
Yeah, 2009, what was it? I believe he got busted for, was it hookers, I think it was? Something around there?
This is where we're going to be very careful.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure, well, I'm not sure.
Or maybe we
I
should
think-
just talk about it now.
Oh no, we're talking about this.
Oh.
We're breaking the law. I want to say what we have to be careful about is, yes, some of them were escorts or professionals, if you will.
Yeah.
And many of them came out of the woodwork when they saw the. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't know how to say this.
It's hard to describe this,
Yeah.
so let's just say he got involved with some people.
Many women.
Many women. His wife found out.
His wife.
And then his life literally just went like this, living the good life, playing golf, and then it went down like this.
It was essentially if someone was privately reading the newspaper and his life was like this, and all his little secrets were in here.
Everybody knew.
It was essentially like, hey world, guess what? Here you go.
It's
Man.
pretty. After that moment, literally, almost all of his accolades, everything, completely forgotten like that almost.
And oh my gosh, it's like how much do you allow to happen for you? And let's be honest, we all still love Tiger.
Of course.
We forgive the man. And I know there's a lot of people that do not. But I separate a man's personal life and why I love him for the sport.
As a guy who does not follow a thing of golf except for Happy Gilmore.
Man, dude, guy, come on.
Why?
That was my best argument yet. Man, dude, guy, come on. I'm just saying.
Wait, you trying to be a character?
I'm trying.
Okay.
Why are we paying attention? I mean, yes, it's dramatic, it's crazy, it's the news, it's Tiger. But what we're building here is the narrative of the comeback story.
Everybody loves a great comeback story.
And everybody's waiting for the lightning bolt to strike again.
It's definitely gonna happen.
I feel like we're like a couple of thunders have gone by and no flash, man. Like he's maybe gonna get lucky and win one or something, but like I want him to come back so badly. I'll admit it, and I want him to come back for the sport, what he did. But I feel like the field does not fear him anymore. He changed. He had to overcome the embarrassment, the professional embarrassment, the life embarrassment.
It's one of those things.
The
like,
shame.
We all make mistakes. We feel ashamed.
Yeah.
Things like that.
And who are we to judge? The number one athlete in the world
Definitely number one athlete for golf.
forever, for like over a decade, you're going to tell me that it's going to be easy? I'm not bailing him out, by the way, disclaimer. I'm not giving an excuse. I'm just saying we don't know his life. We don't know how many girls are all over his situation, man.
We never knew what happened when the camera was not on him.
Exactly. And he just seemed like such cuddly Tiger, and all of a sudden he would roar and we would feel alive.
The Tiger would roar. Yes!
And those Sunday Reds, baby.
Yeah.
But, man, we're waiting for that. And I think my buddy Dave's theory is pretty on point,
I didn't think about this theory until you mentioned it to me a couple days ago.
Yeah, it's like the Jordan Spieths. We were almost trying to dive in on one of these guys and have them be the new Tiger and them be the dominant one. But there's so many of them.
There's only one Tiger.
There's only one Tiger.
Just like how there's only one Ted Williams, one LeBron James,
one Derek Jeter,
one Derek Sanderson Jeter.
But that's exactly it, man. Like, you cannot compare him to anybody else. We won it when Spieth came out hot. And won, and then won again.
Yeah.
We were like, ooh. We were getting satisfied in this like hero way. We want a hero. But now our hero is here, and he's just got a field this thick to get through, And I feel like the man has overcome some of the mental things. We've seen even more sad things happen to him physically. He got arrested and pulled over with drugs.
Yeah, long story short.
Yeah.
Fast forward to 2019 where he's trying to get back on.
And let's hope it does happen.
Hopefully have a hole-in-one career. Sorry, never mind. We're going to take that back. I even said that.
Let's go back 1 second. I just want to say, hopefully the Lightning can strike twice in the same spot.
Of course, it should happen twice in the same spot. Everyone deserves a second chance, except if you ruin your second chance.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I'd like to think that we've covered a lot of topics here. We're actually almost near the moment.
Near the end, yeah.
Well,
we got to wrap this up pretty quickly.
Darn. Well, final thoughts. I just want to say thank you to the Avon Public Library.
Yes.
For
we'll definitely
for dealing with us for a few minutes.
We'll definitely use you again. Anyway.
They were very cooperative, and we are in a library, and James has a loud bellowing voice and a very animated soul, and I am quite annoying at times, so...
I'm almost like James Earl Jones.
That was very good. So thank you for those who are hopefully going to listen to this. And
Can you believe it? Opening day is next month. Literally 1 month away. March 28th. Yankees, Orioles, Severino is on the hill. Come on.
Let's go, baby.
I can't believe the March is going. Or March is nearly there.
February. Click.
What's more likely to happen? Calendar month going to March, or Bryce Harper signing before March?
He has to, man. It's like, how much more attention can one guy get? And I don't think he's doing it for the same reason Manny did. But if he's really just holding out to get $300 million in one penny,
it's an ego thing.
It's
ridiculous.
Man,
it's like the Price is Right kind of thing. It's like, say that I want $70, or I say it's $70 for, I don't know, random. Bryce Harper wants $70.01.
Yeah, so he covers that. The other guy can't win. The fame thusly shifts over. But I'm just saying, how much can one guy, how much is he really worth? Is the story, it's just going to, dude, go play baseball.
Go play baseball, play with the Phillies, play with the Dodgers, play with the Giants. I don't care where you go as long as the saga is over.
Saga.
Because it is a saga.
It is a saga. Well, my wrap-up thought here. Bold prediction. I just wanted to say.
Bold predictions.
You go first. You give a quick one.
All right.
Because I got a real bold one.
You remember our lovely first baseman battle, Greg the Birdie Bird. He's going to get red hot this season. I'm calling it.
Wow. That is bold. So you're saying him and Lukey Boy are going to...
Go at it, mano y mano.
You think it'll help each other almost?
Probably.
Right.
Almost like a Rocky Apollo Creed kind of thing.
Well, it's what it's going to take for Bird to snap up. And maybe that 20 pounds of muscle has helped him here too and here, so we'll see.
All right. What's your bold prediction?
My bold prediction is we've seen Manny Machado's ego. We've seen Bryce Harper's ego.
Yep.
We know that it takes athletes' ego to step into a box surrounded by 50,000 people and hit a ball with a stick that's moving over 100 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
My bold prediction. There's going to be a player that has more ego than the both of them combined.
Oh, no. On our team?
No.
Or just in general?
Just in general.
Okay, who?
I want you to take one guess.
What sport are we talking about?
Any.
LeBron James.
We need you, LeBron. We need you to come back. You went to LA to make movies. You went because we know we get it. Put your focus.
That was a great guess, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know how you did that. I need his ego to come back and be tenfold, man. I need him. Yes, you're making production just like this. Yes, we are running out of time. Yes, LeBron James.
His team hates him. He tried to get rid of everybody.
And now he has to play with them, dude. So guess what? You're going to have to take the ego, expand it 12 times, because if you put it away, you guys are screwed.
All right, here's my final bold prediction.
LeBron James, step up again.
The Lakers are missing the playoffs.
I'll do the opposite. LeBron James' ego is going to come back. He's going to be better than he's ever been before. And him and Kyle Kuzma, will bring them to the 8th seed
Such a lie. Not happening.
to get swept in 4 games in the playoffs.
All right. Not happening. I'm sorry. My Nets are going to make it to the playoffs, though.
We'll see.
All right. Thank you for joining us today. As you can see, we get very heated. Very heated. Catch us around next week. Once again, I am James Yevon.
And I'm TJ Stolzenberg.
Saying goodnight and watch tons of sports.
Rock and or roll.